The interesting thing that I have discovered is the body only selects one significant trauma at a time. Even though the person may have many traumas throughout their life, the body has this amazing ability to highlight the one significant trauma that is essential for the session at that moment. Most times, many times, it goes back to a very early trauma. Not always, but many times it goes back to an early significant trauma that can have an effect on the person's life and the behaviour from then on. For example, I had the opportunity to work on a man, and his arm started to vibrate strongly. His left arm started to vibrate strongly. It was amazing. I'd just done those 2 moves and his left arm started to vibrate. If the person's body responds, I wait until that response fades. So this young man's arm kept on vibrating for 15 minutes without stopping. And then I was able to do the next 2 moves, and once again his arm started to vibrate. So after 25-30 minutes, I realised I wasn't going to get any further work done. And so then I asked him after that 30 minutes, is there anything significant about your left arm vibrating? And he said, yes, there is. I broke it when I was 8 years old. And that was significant in that 8 is a very significant time in children's lives. They're very vulnerable at 8. But then his mother was there, and his mother said, that really wasn't the problem. The problem was they had to re-break his arm so that it would set in a straight line. She said it was dreadful. It was a horrible experience. And instantly his arm stopped vibrating. And so there was that was the process that I've now come to use. I do the moves, the body responds. If the response lasts a long time, I wait. If it's only a short time, I move on. And then I can actually, after half an hour, have a discussion with the person, which brings it from the unconscious mind to the conscious mind. And then the body starts to repair and release. And so I usually see someone maybe 3 times, and the problems that have been trapped within their body for quite a long time start to melt away. And the behaviour that they've experienced with, for instance, lack of trust in that young man's mind, lack of trust of adults, started to become a change in his attitude to accepting and understanding why he felt that way and how he could change it. And so that's the kind of work I do. Most of my work is with people who have trauma or have chronic problems that have never resolved, because many times the therapist has been treating the light on the dash and it hasn't been recovering. So when they come to see me, I then see if we can discover the cause. So my work is really about finding the cause. This is particularly important for children as well, because many children are feeling very anxious. It's been a very difficult time for children, and when they first go to school, they can suffer extreme anxiety when they're leaving their mother and going to school. And so I had a little girl. It was a very interesting case. This little girl was 8. She was able to read amazingly. However, she couldn't understand what it was she was reading, and it made her feel very anxious and worried. She could read very well, but she couldn't understand what she was reading. And so then I did the first moves for her. Her mother was present in my rooms, and interestingly, her eyes started to flutter. They fluttered almost like a butterfly fluttering its wings. And we were both astounded. How could she be having such a reaction? It was really interesting. It usually indicates a trauma is being remembered. And so that continued on for quite a long time. And so I asked then the mother, was there anything significant that could have happened to this little girl? Could it have been a head trauma? No, there was nothing. Do you think it was a birth trauma? No, the birth was fine. And so we just left it as it was then and said, all right, go home and see what you think about. See if there's anything that comes to mind. So then in the following week when she came, it was her dad who came. And so we said, well, let's see, nothing came to mind. No, and there was no thoughts about anything to do with the head. And so I did the same 2 moves. The eyes started to flutter again. And it fluttered again for 15, 20 minutes. So I said to the dad, well, Dad, there's something that's happened to this little girl. I wonder what it could be, because it's really upsetting her, because she really wants to be able to read. She wants to be able to fit in with the rest of the people at school. And he was thinking, and then he said, the only thing I can think of is she had an adenoids operation when she was 2. And so I said, well, there it is. I bet you being under anaesthetic and being operated on must have been very traumatic for her. Guess what? Her eyes stopped fluttering. And so we were so excited because we'd found a trauma where she'd been left alone in the hospital, operated on her head, and the body had remembered it. And so then we had to leave it for some weeks because they were going away on a holiday. But the amazing thing happened when they returned was she had a little pile of books that she was now reading. She was now reading novels, little kid novels, and she was so relaxed and excited. And so that's why I would love for you to be able to learn this way of using Bowen, which for me was such a relief, because now I know when I'm working with a client what I've got to do that's going to help them. I listen to the body. The therapist within gives me feedback. I have a chart that's been developed using the 3 charts that we use. We use the Touch for Health information, the acupuncture information, and Tom Bowen's brilliant work. And putting those 3 together, it's very interesting that I can actually almost pinpoint the type of trauma that person has experienced, which has then created the kind of behaviour that they've now developed because of that trauma, and to then start being able to acknowledge it, do something about it, think differently, and gradually the trauma releases. They are able to look at life differently. They are able to enjoy themselves instead of always feeling as though they're not good enough, or as though they can let the sadness of whatever experience they had release. And I give them activities to do that will help them recover life as a balanced and relaxed person. So it'll be wonderful for you to actually come and visit me or do my masterclass so that you can actually experience this way of working, and perhaps open a door for you to understand the Bowen moves that you would be knowing as being efficient and proficient for what you're working with when you're seeing a client who has seen many people and nothing's resolved.